Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. Over the weekend I was listening to Robert Matthews' video on Isidura trajectory and that kind of stuff. I'll put it in the companion of the Pursuit of Truth so anyone else can see it if they're listening to this on Spotify or Google Cast or Apple Cast or YouTube, wherever, or Anchor FM. It explains about the Coriolis effect. It was a really interesting video, but what interested me also was the comment section of that, where he's talking about not relying on history pre-1900s, and that made me think, because in the previous video he was talking, he mentioned my video where he was saying about the bit he wasn't sure on was the history part of it, and it made me think about, yeah, that's true actually, because am I making the same mistake, and that's why I was looking at it, like the old ways and new ways, like since the mind has been opened via flat earth, as it were, I've got to make sure I don't use those same mindset problems that caused this in the first place. So that's one thing that now it's very difficult to know what to believe and what not to believe. Because we all know the maxim that history is written by the victor, by the winner of the war writes down their version of events. We all know about that. So therefore, obviously based on that, they're going to make themselves out to be heroes. So how accurate is those events that have taken place? Now I know some of the modern ones you can use video, you can show video of this, that and the other, but we all know that video can be manipulated, and that's why it's not allowed in a court of law. So that's not really proof. I guess there's photographs, but obviously photographs can be set up as well, and I'm sure there were photographs that were set up as propaganda, as there were, anyone who's done history in GCSE in England or whichever elsewhere, or if they've made you study the Second World War, you must have gone through posters and how posters were used for propaganda. The things that they used to say to try and rile you up, making out that soldiers are raping and pillaging and this, that and the other, and that's why it was your duty to go and fight for your country. So we all know about those issues. So that does lead to us to have to question what can be trusted and not. Just because everyone spouts out that the Earth is a globe. Everyone spouts out that vaccines are good for you, or the food you eat is good for you, or the government that you vote for is good for you, and etc. We all know there's problems with each of those statements. So it's difficult to get that your mind, which has been programmed for however old you are, in the old way of looking at things. The way that we look at each other as well. Like I've mentioned this many times, that we look at each other based on, even though a lot of us claim we're not racist, we all look at each other by colour. We fill out an NHS form and it asks you what your ethnic background is, as if that's some real thing. Is the stories and culture, same with culture and identity, they're all stories from the past, in the sense that, that you could be anything. It just what's happened through time. So yeah, I was thinking about that, and it was it's one of the hardest parts, I think, when you start to realise that you've been lied to, no matter what subject you come in. And then you have to sort of start to reevaluate everything around you, and it becomes difficult because obviously, when you look at things logically, you think, why would people lie? And, and if you mention it to other people, they say, you're being stupid now, isn't it? You don't want to trust this, you don't want to trust that, but on what basis? And that's exactly the point. How do I know now what is trustable and what's not? What is truth and what isn't? What's a lie? Because just because it's authority, just because, it's been written in books and reprinted over and over again, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. We know historical lies and we know all sorts of things where that's been proven after the fact. The things we take a lot for granted. And I think part of the reason we do that is it's easier. That's why some people, they find it difficult through these subjects, because they have to question everything. And all your life, you've relied upon authority. We have the authority of a teacher, the authority of a politician, the authority of a BBC presenter or of a news anchor. We believed in what they said and we trusted them, but when you realise that they can manipulate or lie, or have done, or have the capability of doing so, are you foolish then to trust something that you do not see with your own eyes? I mean, God, or, if it's not God, however we were born with 2 eyes and a brain to use. But then again, then there's the problematic thing of like, well, I can't see everything, so am I going to deny anything that I do not see? And that becomes a problem as well, because I won't be able to believe anything, isn't it? You wouldn't be able to believe me talking to you now because you're not seeing what I'm seeing. You've not gone through the same journey that I've gone through. Or maybe there are similarities, but you know what I'm trying to say, is that you have to have some, I was going to say faith, but maybe that's showing the problem of it. If you only go through life trusting only what you see, but then again, I suppose if you only go through trusting what you see, you can never be fooled. But the problem is you may also be unaware of a lot of things. So it is a problem to know, it's a very difficult line to walk down to know what can be believed and what can't be. We all go onto different YouTube sites and we trust certain people. Some trust, this person, some distrust that person, and vice versa, and all that kind of stuff. It's difficult to know, isn't it, really? I mean, that's why there's mistrust, because of, we believe we've been lied to, or we have been lied to by authorities. Not just us, our parents and our parents' parents. Look at all those people that were sent to wars throughout man's history, assuming that any of it is true. You don't think they were fooled into fighting for something that wouldn't benefit them at all? So yeah, I think that's the most difficult thing to be able to do when you realise you've been lied to, is if you look at it, even if in a relationship, you know how difficult that is when you realise you've been lied to someone. Usually you just cut them off. But obviously you can't just cut off the whole of the world. You can't just say, I'm not going to believe in schools, I'm not going to believe in government. I mean, some of that, yeah, the system definitely needs getting rid of. It can't be corrected, it has to be changed, because the system is not designed to help the majority, everyone. It's not help, it's to help a certain amount. It's not to help every single individual, which I believe we could have a system to help every single person. I don't believe that is pie in the sky, or I think that is realistic. I think the reason we think it's not realistic is because we're always taught that it's not realistic, and that's because the system that we live in it's not realistic within the system we live in. But we can, we don't have to live by that system. So that led me to believe too, because I was hearing a lot about the Flat Earth Conference. I don't know anything about it. I didn't watch last year. Apparently there was one last year and there was this one this year, and I think I did like a video, Mark Sargent, I don't know if that was from this one, where he was going on about, I'm Mark Sargent and I'm a flat earther, and he was detailing some stuff, and apparently he walked off. But my worry is that two things about this is the elevated status of people and celebrities and stuff like that. I'm worried that we're, that's in the old way and the new way of thinking. The old way is that, we create status, elevated status. We have, you know, someone who is, you know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or you have Jimmy Savile. That's a bad example, and I'm doing that on purpose. You have people who have been I can't even say the word now, who have a status as if they're something more powerful or more knowledgeable or more something than the other person. I think in our new way of thinking, we should understand that we're all equal and that power shouldn't be given to anyone else, and power can't be given to anyone else, and all of us are exactly the same equalness to each other, in the sense that your boss is no more powerful than you, and you know, you're exactly equal in the way that you were born, in the way that you live, in the way that you know, are, fundamentally. So I think we have to be careful that we don't stray into those old ways, because those old ways, you know, maybe they're dangerous, maybe they're just a natural way to do things. But it's just, you know, if you have these, you know, like Mark Sargent, or you have, you know, whoever, you're creating not leaders or cults, but it is on that way. And that can be a problem if you start to do that. You know, why in the old way of doing things, we have, you know, in the, if you want to say the globe world, just to put it easily for people who don't see it easily, we have a bit where someone will stand on a stage and the people listening sit down and listen to those people, and they wear white coats or they wear their suits, and these people on the stage talk down to the people sitting down. Now that's the old way of doing things. Now I think in the new way, why is it that you have, why is that person on the stage's words more important than the person sitting down? Maybe the new way should be everyone stands in a big circle, or a big square, and we don't have a stage, we don't have elevation, we don't have guest speakers, we don't have special guests. All these things that are designed to elevate other people above other people. People just talk to each other. You know, if they want to come with their speech, they can come with their speech, and then other people can talk, and it's not like you have, this person's more important than you have to listen to him. But maybe what I'm saying is impractical, but what I'm saying, I'm questioning myself, that may be impractical, but that's because that's the old way of doing things and the way we've been taught how to do things. And that's how order is created, by following the old ways of him up on the stage, we must listen to him, he's more important than us, his word counts more because his word is one word and it goes to all, you know, 500 people sitting down. So my worry is that we're not recognising old ways versus new ways, and changing things, you know, to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that we made previously. And obviously with a celebrity, that's even more worse, that, you know, they were talking about Logan Paul, this, that and the other, and, you know, all these different celebrities that I think we've got to be careful with the takeover. You know, if like I said previously, if flat earth is going to be given, then they're going to want to gatekeep the rest of the things that keep people happy. You know, the flat earthers happy, that keep the globers happy, whatever, and then make sure. But at the end of the day, they don't really care. I don't think people care whether it's flat or globe. No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about those that have a lot to lose. They will want to make sure that we all go to work, that we all still follow the system, that we all follow the order that we've all been taught, and that we teach our children that same system, that same order, so that everything remains. And obviously the best way to do that, I mean the only way to do that, is infiltration, isn't it? We know that happened in the hippie movement, we know there's many examples of that, but that's the only way it can be done, because you can't leave it to chance, you know? You can sabotage people, but the best way to do it is you take it over, you create your own flat earth people on YouTube, you know, like they do with like Justin Bieber, how he was made. I don't believe that he was just an ordinary person. I know that nowadays that there are studios that, you know, maybe look at YouTube, buy up people and then, you know, build them up and then, you know, make them YouTube sensations and selling them on Disney Channel and making films. I think that's that they've worked out that progression, and so that would be easy to do on YouTube. You just put people on there, you give them what to say. They may not even realise that they're being handled, if the agent is really good at doing it. And celebrities even better. You can easily get them on board without telling them, you know. You can tell them they're doing their patriotic duty of making sure that, you know, that's only this that's got out. You could tell them, well, this is the truth. You get it out. They think they're actually doing a service, whereas really they're just being kept down a narrow lane. I mean, there's all supposition, but I'm concerned with the celebrity and the status aspect. And I know there's a lot of infighting on YouTube with personalities of, and maybe this is to do with, you know, who's a shield, who's not, who's real, who's not, who's keeping just a certain agenda, who's expanding, and this, that, and the other. The thing is, we don't really know, you know, like a lot of people say Mark Sargent or Patricia Steere are shills and they're gatekeeping, and who knows? I mean, I don't really know. I suppose a lot of it depends on their content, and it depends how far they go, because if these people are real flat earthers, I would assume that they would not just stop at flat earth, they would see all the rest of the lies, you know, what made flat earth possible. Like Subtle Infinity was going on his latest video, put that in the companion as well, how he was mentioning about, you know, the rest of the stuff, the indigenous people, the lands, the money, all of this stuff, you know. A real truther or a flat earther, you know, isn't just going to stop at wanting the acknowledgement that they live on a flat earth. They should want never to be lied to again, never to be fooled again, and the only way of doing that is changing the system. And they should also want no suffering for all the individuals that go around that live on this world. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's basically all I wanted to say. But yeah, I guess the crux of the matter is the old ways and the new ways, that we have to make sure we're not falling into those old ways, that we have to acknowledge that the way things have been done in the past may not be the best way of doing things. You may be falling into the same trap by using these old ways. It's the same way how you think as well. It's very difficult because you've been programmed to know that this is the best way to do something. You know, let's organise an event, let's get money for this event, let's have a stage, you know, let's have awards. Are these things necessarily the best things, or are they divisive? I think it really needs to be looked at to make sure that, you know, we're not making the mistakes that we should know more, or, you know, that we should be aware of. Take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.